Alright, it looks like we are going to have another successful live stream. Or at least we're going to pretend like it. We'll give the YouTube a minute to catch up. Looks like the YouTube is being slow. Are you being slow? Why are you being slow? I changed the setup around to hopefully get a little better live stream. But from what I'm looking at, looks like we may be stalling out. If you guys end up in the live stream chat, let me know what it sounds like, what it looks like, if I'm stuttering, because we are going to do some changes and make this thing prime. We've got all the stuff that we need and should be able to give you guys and gals a great live stream. And today I'm excited to bring you an awesome bike. Get this Trek Fuel EX8. Take a look at it. Trek Fuel EX8 2012 model. 120 millimeters of suspension, front and rear. These bikes are a great bike. Yeah, Fox suspension, front and rear. Unfortunately, my audio just kicked. There, my air conditioning just kicked on, so you guys are going to hear that, and it's going to be great. But no, really. So this bike has 120 millimeters of suspension in the rear and in the front. It's got Fox setup, specially designed with these DRCV air valve. So it's got two different air chambers in the fork and in the shock. And as you compress it halfway down, it opens up the second air chamber, and then it allows for the bike to respond differently than it does with the small air canister at the bottom. However, this bike is a 2012 model, and I don't believe the suspension has ever been rebuilt. It is very stiff. I pulled the shock off earlier and tested the suspension leakage, and it feels okay. So I'm just going to assume this is dry as a bone, just like these forks. So we got some fresh seals we're going to throw in here and there. Then we're going to pull all the controls off here, rip off the wheels. Unfortunately, I don't have tires today, but we're just going to put those on later. So the things we're going to do is remove the front brake, rebuild the fork, rebuild the shock, tear off the drivetrain, got a new set of cranks from Shimano, and a box 8 drivetrain. So we're going to minimalize this, get that front derailleur off there, and really get this thing stripped down. Going to put a new stem and handlebar. Going to really make this thing awesome. Check us out. Looking into parts, and voila. Easton monkey bar, 40 millimeter rods. That's going to help us get those bar spins, especially with these little wheels. It's going to have a easier spin mass than the 27 and a half or whatever, 29-inch. But yeah, it's going to be a sweet trick bike, and I've got a little stubby stem. It's going to go in right here and correct this old school offset terribleness. So right now it looks like my computer's telling me this live stream isn't working so great. So let's walk over there and see if we can make it better. All right. So I'm going to bring you guys with me. Guys, yes. So what we're going to do here is try and change our stream settings just a little bit. Okay. And hopefully that works out, and we're going to get a little bit better video. And you guys can kind of see my mess here. This is what happens when you stage videos. Everything over here is designed to be nice and beautiful. This back here, it's just me. My mess. Right now, it doesn't look like we're too bad. So we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this build. Let's go to this camera. How about that? So, this camera. Hey, what'd you know? 3 camera setup? You didn't expect that, did you? But that's the kind of quality we're going to put out here in these live streams. Let me pick up my handbars, get another one. Box inked little deal here. This me. I feel like I'm on the right camera. That's camera 3. It's red, so it's gotta be red. We got a box 3 derailleur. Got some light coming down right here, so you should be able to see that. I'm lying to you. It's a box 8. Why did I say 3? I don't know. I put on a lot of box 3 stuff. So first of all, I pulled this off here, washed it, because you guys don't want to watch me do that. And it takes me too long to get back through this hallway, which there's no way to live stream that well. This doesn't work. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and pull the wheels off, drivetrain, the brakes, just get it busted down. It's probably going to pull a headset out of there as well. Headset, come on. Pay no attention to that. One of the cool things about this bike, even though it was from 2012 and has a 135 rear end, these ABP here, these ABP back ends have a through axle convert, as they say. It uses a bolt, a through axle with quick release. Fancy. I'm gonna pull that out of there. Go ahead and get the front brake off. Anybody joining us yet? Just me, by myself. Looks like it's pretty well equipped. We got Shimano SLX quick set on here. They're already set up with 180, I think. No, that's close. But we're not going to use the front brake anyway. Need to put 7 on it. Get this here. It comes free. Take all the stuff off the handle on there. One of the awesome things about working on bikes today is having the grips that lock on, like getting them on and off. Pop them right off there. Just loosen them up. back over here. Haha. I think. I just really never know what I'm doing. It's just your little. Very little. Who's on there? Somebody watching? Looks like we got one viewer. And today we're going to get those scripts off there. Two and a half millimeter mountain. Throw those to the birds. Although I didn't bring a new set out. Get some of those out of the closet. To the garbage. We got already, right? Do it front to right. The front to right. And it's not. Whichever side. Looks awful dark from over there. Let's brighten things. That should be much brighter. Much, much brighter. So now, disconnect that cable. Can't take it off yet. Disconnect the rig. That's all. Somewhere. Hopefully this has put in. As long as it's not a Shimano chain, it should have quick link. And a lot of times, even if it is a Shimano chain, you don't have a quick link because people are smart. And Shimano is not. Okay, they are. They just don't want to pay to license somebody else's design. Anybody need an on-speed derailleur? Got perfectly good functioning on-speed derailleur. XT. No, it's and that's just the rear shifter. Just do the frame. Where's it coming? Right there. Is that the front? What? Front rail. Who uses front rail? Not us. So, put this in. And we should pull it up. Ta-da! Running along the frame here, go onto the back completely on the outside. It's the rear of the whip. Continue 1,000. But we're going to need to replace that so we can do bar spins. And probably the brake goes this way. Get the cranks off here. Watch the toes. So once you loosen the bolts on these Shimano cranks, you need to pop up this little pin. It's got a little tab. It's got to come up, and we pop that up. Oh no! Where's my tool? The crank arm. This right here. This is the TLFC13. We use these to remove and install Shimano compression caps for the cranks. This little guy. Cranks are up. Feeling pretty accomplished so far. How about that? No? Okay. Just walking this up. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pop the rest of these cables off. That's why I brought this. Pull these ones out. This truck cable management is pretty nice. They've got a bunch of little Allen heads under here. It's got to loosen up. Yeah, I'll just like that. Just like that. We're going to drink some water. I'm team water. This feels good. It's refreshing. Just trickling down the throat. Failure obvious. You're definitely not going to be using that. Has anybody joined us again? Say hi in the chat. I'm lonely, working on bikes. That's what I do. This bike is going to be a 6 SlopeDuro build. If you're into restoring 26-inch bikes, having something like this given to you is just awesome. As you know, it's going to be a great bike. Got Fox suspension on the rear, Fox up front, sturdy though. 10 years old, 12 years old. The smudges and stuff, it's not even dirty, like it's just corroded and covered with dry stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get these bolts off. Why don't I have a 10mm over here? You would think. Look at me. When I'm talking to you. When I'm talking to you, you should be looking at me. I don't know why you would. I'm looking for my 10mm. Surprise. Okay. I know where it is. I was just hoping it's right here.
So I got over there and I was like, it's not there. But it is. Because that's the 10. That's the 9. 9's going back in. 10 is coming with me. Over here. Connected to this. So let's do that. So let's go back. We're back. This one's free. Really wasn't tight. But that's to be expected. There we get that one on. That which wasn't tight either. There's a bunch of oil on the bottom of this one. And that's because this bike is like 12 years old. And oil does not hold forever. I'm going to go ahead and let the air out of here. And I'm going to take a pokey and look away. Didn't have eye protection on and didn't want to get blinded if there was anything in there. There's not. Alright, so we got those free. Got my bucket. My rubber mount. Got my socket head. Got the bolt turned out a few turns here. And then I'm gonna let it slip right off there. The idea is to whack this and not damage the bolt. There we go. Hooked in. Do it into the other side. Break out of the way. The trick here is to do it without smashing your finger. After 12 years, that one move. Really tough, huh? Yeah, it does. Go straight down. I'm gonna get brutal. So it looks like there's 7 people who've jumped in here. Hey, to you. You are the ones who make life go round. Thanks a lot for watching. Now we've resorted to a metal hammer, a real mount. And this is why you don't wait 12 years. Read your suspension. There we go. But we'll see how much oil comes out of here. Get both sides all the way off. If I can get the bolts to turn now that my fingers are all oily. That's where you are watching from today. Ooh, it's milky. It's great. the sign of pressure washing. Look at that. Gross. Oh yay, it's an old box damper. Gonna have to take it all the way apart. Mostly apart. Yay. Once we've taken it mostly apart, get all that milky, contaminated oil out of there. Clean it up. It will work great. Yay. Which is the awesome thing about these awesome Fox products. Even though it's 12 years old, you'll go out and buy a Fox 32 kit and it's going to work. Most likely the internals of the damper are fine. They're just not working great because of that milky mess of oil that's came out of there. And then the fact that it's been dripping out, you can see on the bottom of the stanchions, there's a lot of residue on the bottom here. And that's just where it's slowly been creeping out over time. Oh, it's gross. Look at it. It's just straight milky oil. We just don't know how good we have it these days with sealed dampers. We really don't. Okay. Where are you all from? Who's on? I can see there's people. My people. Our people. Gloves are coming off because they're contaminated. Gotta grab another pair real quick. Hello. It'd be so cool if they had like audio chat for you all and we could talk to each other. I got oily in it. Yeah, I didn't take this into consideration and we're gonna have to look up the oil chart. Actually, I did, but I didn't find this fork because it's stupid. And it's the DRCV model, dual rate control valve, which is probably going to be the same as the basic Fox Float 32 when it comes to the damper side. Yay, suspension. If my calculations are correct, you guys are over here now. And if you wonder why I say that and then look over here, it's because that's where my computer is. Woohoo! Somebody is here. Good to see you again there, Dustin. And Matt, it's always good to see you. Glad to give you some entertainment while you're at work. Got my back to you now, though. That wasn't very nice. Tiny little 2mm round wrench. Hold still. Break that free. It's really nice they've got these park tools mats over here. Help me keep this stuff isolated when I take it off here. I hate these old things. All the new stuff, we're so spoiled how easily it comes apart. Let's see if I get my pick under here. Yeah, the proper way to remove this on your bike that was $2,600 back in 2012 is to pry it off with like a screwdriver or something. If I get my little pick tool under it, and not scratch anything. or deform it so it doesn't want to go like that. And we're going to switch up to a little screwdriver. Do that. We'll also make little Mars in the aluminum. All right. Here we're at. Oh, look. As I was in the bike shop today, Elk City Cycles, shout out to Brandon, I was in there and found these Road Championship stickers because the pro road cycling thing's coming to Charleston real soon. Yeah, you should check that out on the internet or whatever. And then come to Charleston and watch the race. So, yeah, we'll get the top of the stamper off here. Hopefully it's that easy. It is. It's gonna open bad. We have more responses. I've worked in a shop for most of my life. It's been about 20 years, well, 17 years working at the local bike shop in my small town. And then I ran a small bike shop of my own for a while. I love bicycles. I'm actually a BMXer. We got into mountain biking because the people I worked with told me that mountain bikes were fun, and I was like, that's probably dumb. You guys wear tights. But this was in like 1996. And then I did it, and it was a lot of fun. So now, I get to work on all this fun stuff. Yeah. I'm just gonna milk this thing back and forth to get all that oil out of there. It's got vents at the top and the bottom. We want to get all that contaminated oil out of it. And I should probably have on goggles. If I was really professional, I'd have on safety equipment. Can you see how it squirts out there? As the more this goes back and forth, air mixes in there, and you get those puffs. Which is an interesting thing as to why modern suspension is awesome, and the fancier dampers that you notice, they have fully sealed systems. So you'll have a fluid bath, and there's nowhere for air to get in. So as this oscillates up and down, air can get in between the oil and the valves, and you get that inconsistent compression. When you have a fully bled oil system, it's a constant rate of oil coming in and out, and you never have that smacking, which you don't feel too much when you're just riding down the mountain, but it does translate into forearm pump and just overall discomfort on long days on the trail. I also nerd out on suspension. I think we got that pretty much empty. Not getting any more resistance as I slide it up and down. And let it drain out. Ooh, beautiful. Let's check those comments. Heck yeah. It doesn't matter when you find BMX, as long as you find BMX. It's fun. But really, it's not too dirty in here. Let's switch cameras. coming back to 1. I think we're on 1. Get my little pick out here and show you all what we're looking at. Oh, and that's exactly why we want to change these things. See, that just crumbles, just deteriorates. But if you can see what color it is all brown and grimy. It should be clean, like this one here. Surprisingly. We'll see how fresh it is. Not very fresh, still brittle, not able to soak up dirt anymore. And then on the inside, it's just gross. Gross. Handy dandy tire lever. You want to get in just under the lip without digging into the side of the fork. You never want to damage that fitting where it goes in. Just draw that up. Pops right up. Again. Definitely don't want to dig in. Back. There we go. Popped right out. Right. I wish I could see. I wish I had put the monitor on there. But now, like, the way my mic is, it's terrible. It's terrible. One of these days, I'm going to get this thing set up pretty well. Anyway, so that's what we're looking at. It's all dirty in there. Got some rags right over here. Excuse me. Was kind of sort of smart and put some out already. So we got these guys. We're going to wipe the fork down. Try to get it as clean as we can. And I would use RockShox suspension cleaner. But this fork is 12 plus years old. And I'm not going to waste it. But it really is in great shape. Well, and see, I wish I could show you all this. But if you look right in here, which you can barely see, that little ring, that little brown ring, tan colored stuff, that ceramic seal is where the friction it actually happens in your fork. And you can see there's tiny little gouges in it. You probably can't see it. But there's these tiny little slices in there, which are going to increase friction as the fork goes up and down. Because, yeah, it felt fine, but it was not. Just get all this dirt around the top. Got some muck off waterless cleaner here. And you can use whatever cleaner you like. This is just what I have. But once again, I do recommend real bike cleaners or automotive cleaners. Just not car stuff. Or no, car stuff. Car stuff is fine. Dishwashing soap bad. All right. Now, take a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Spill my water. Rubbing alcohol. Get this rag down in there. Getting that out. Just going to get all that old grit and grime. Really, it's not that much grit and grime. It's just wear and tear from lack of oil and watery oil. saw that was all oily and mixed up. It's because when you pressure wash your bike, you're pushing water past your seals. Or it doesn't work. And it makes your bike sad. And me. Let's check the comments one more time. No, car stuff. No, I did not find who hit my car. Heck yeah. If you still lived here, we would definitely be riding together. I ride with everybody. Let's go back to the bike. We are back to the bike. But I forgot which one. So it looks like we're on 2, and that's you. So now we got this part cleaned up. Wipe up some of this oil on the floor. Nobody likes that. Take this rubbing alcohol, clean off the stanchions. But no, Matt, I did not find out who hit my car. But I will. Or at least security will. And then HR will do it. But until that time, I'd rather pay it off Kia, so I ain't worried about it. But if they do find him and pay out, guess who's getting an e-bike? This guy. Almost forgot we gotta take off the air sleeve side. You know how tough that is? No, you didn't. Because you're on the internet. I'm here. There's a lot of resistance. I think this thing has smiley rings on the bottom. Let's find out. If you don't know what smiley ring is, you could learn today. Bonus points if you know what a smiley ring is. I'll give you a few moments to enter that in the chat now. I didn't know what smiley rings were until I took. Oh no. What was that? Oh, okay, that's fine. The DRCP. We just want this whole thing together. Together. There's definitely a smiley ring in there. Oh. Let me just push that. You always want to be careful with anything that you put inside the fork because it can kill you. Not really. You don't want to scratch any of the airtight parts on there. And this little shaft here is part of the dual rate control valve system. And this is your negative spring. Old school suspension technology. Man, that's old. But it's still super clean inside. Here's the air spring. And I'll just clean that. Doesn't look too bad. Set that stuff there. Get some more towel. Check the check. So here's a question for you, Matt. Is the video looking good, or do I stutter a lot? I tried to change my bitrate settings and stuff, and that may have affected us in a negative way. We're on 3. You're number 3. Always forget. Sorry, guys and gals. So that's box float fluid. Air spring side, cleaned off. Air spring shaft. The door rate control valve. Super cool. As this compresses inside here, it changes the air chamber. I don't know how good of an idea that is. Like, there's a lot of friction. Well, maybe not. I guess if it's perfectly straight as it's going in and out, you'll be okay. But if you're not, should be pretty straight. Oh, that's where it does it. And once it passes there, it lets the air travel more easily. Fancy. All right. Sorry, I don't know if you all nerd out on suspension like I do. But I do. Get all the oil off this one. Get that cleaned out. So now, take just a little moment to talk to each other while I figure out how much oil goes back in this fork. I was really hoping it was going to be a modern damper. Well, we're going to have to deal with it. It's not. It's still a good damper, but not. No grip too. It's not even as good as a Suntour, which actually makes really good damper. They're all sealed cartridges. So in those sealed cartridge dampers, you don't have this issue with oil and air mixing. Now we're going to go back to camera number 1 and chat. Take these thumbs off. Clean that up later. So here we are at camera number 1. Going to find the oil level chart. Fox float 32 oil volume. Ride Fox has all this information on their website conveniently. However, it's a little funky to read because this fork is stupid. So we need to find a 32 from 2012 for a 26-inch wheel with 100 millimeters of travel. There's a chart here with all kinds of stuff on it. Let's see what damper does it say. It doesn't. Box Racing Shock. Box Racing Shock. 32 series. DRCV. Open bath. RL. It does say. $29. 32. Do you guys ever have this trouble? Let's check. Just choppy in some parts. Sounds great. Awesome. Because I do have a couple of microphones. Got this one here. Can you see? Oh no. Yeah, you can see that one. And then there's one mounted on top of that camera. So tech videos I find are going to be a great addition to this channel because I do this stuff all the time and I just forget to talk about it and the intricacies of the forks and suspension. And normally when I talk to people about it, they're like, this is boring. Why won't that guy shut up? But people who want to find out about it can come here, listen to me, and hopefully find out what's up. All right, 32, 26, 120. Air chamber, 5 cc of Fox float fluid. Let's get some of that. Next on the list, we have, oh, I moved. $30 and $30 of gold 20 weight. Already got it up. Double check. Because there are so many variations. Just want to make sure we get the right amount of oil for this fork. 120 float. That's a CTD. We want RL. RL damper. Float 32 with an RL. That's different dampers. Because that looked like more than 20. And it says the float with an RL in a 34 was a whole lot more. Oh, 32 and a 29 is a whole lot more. So we're going to go with a whole lot more. 160. Because this lists the 2012 or 2014. I'm lying. 2013. I'm dyslexic and I can't read numbers. So anyway, we've got the 2012 and 2011 model with an RL damper, and it uses 165. Then the other models of the same age range with RL dampers use 160. So I'm going to believe it uses 160 to 165. And that looks more like the amount of oil that came out of there. So let's do this. Clank. Get some new gloves on. Pick up my forks. After I get my gloves on. Go back to my chat. See how you lovely people are. Need to learn about shock settings. I can definitely teach you about the settings on your suspension. And I can tell you why knowing about your basic settings on an older fork like this, or even just a modern fork that are basic, is more important than having high and low speed compression and rebound, high speed and low speed. So low speed rebound refers to the type of motion and impact that the fork is receiving as you compress it. If you have a fork that just has one compression knob. That's typically a low speed compression. What you want to do is set the sag on your fork with that knob all the way open. So it's just as springy as can be. Depending on the amount of travel you have, you want to have between 20 and 30% compression or sag. Once you get your sag set, you will set your compression based on your riding type and body weight. Heavier riders, more compression. Lighter riders, less compression. As you're riding over rougher terrain, the less compression you have, the easier your fork moves. If you bring it over to the middle, it's going to reduce the oscillation of the fork and give you more support in that middle stroke. Turn it all the way, it's almost going to lock out, be kind of hard to move. But when you compress it really hard, it's going to blow off and move anyway. On the rebound side, once you've set your compression and your sag, that's when you set your rebound. So you have your fork so it springs up and down, push down on it, bam, bam. And then just let it pop up until it looks like the wheel's just about going to jump off the ground. And you slow it down with the rebound until it's just about to pop off the ground. And then it should work really fast, responding quickly to each little bump in the trail. Isn't that fun? But it won't do that if you don't clean it and lubricate it. It'll be like this fork that felt very stiff and hard to move. Just it wasn't working great. So now we're going to go ahead and put it back together with fresh seals and oil, which we have right here, which we picked up at Elk City Cycle. See that? Can you focus, camera? Elk City Cycle. Fox 32s. And these are the same ones that go in a modern Fox fork if you bought today. If you bought a step cast or whatever, you're going to use these same fancy seals. They don't really that fancy. And once again, they're not seals. The most important one, go ahead and stick it on now. Come with me. Over here on the air spring side, I'm going to go ahead and install my sag ring. Ta-da! We have a sag ring. And I do that now so that I don't forget to do it later, because I will. In this bag, we've got everything you need. 2 fancy brand new crush washers. Always want to use those. Excuse me one moment. Uno momento. We may have a problem. All right. So this next part, I want you to pretend like that I used the torque wrench, because my torque wrench is in the car and I'm not going to get it. We're going to put it back together and I'm going to use my torque wrench, just like you should. But first, we take our 20 weight oil and we prep our O-rings. You want these little foam rings to be good and soaked in oil, so they will soak up dirt. Just dip that in there. Get it good and soaked. And please don't fall in. Yes. came out. And we'll just stick it in the bag so it doesn't make a mess. Do it one more time. Slightly more carefully so it doesn't fall in all the way. All right. I'm going to rotate it, get it fully immersed without dropping it. That was a rookie mistake. So on the Shimano, on the RockShox stuff, they have a bigger lid, and I just pour some oil in the lid. Please don't. Nothing wrong with that. This Fox sucks. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Fox is great. I'm actually probably going to steal this fork and put it on my son's bike. I'm going back to the chat. Let's see who's talking. You run a Manitou, Mara, Pro, Meta, RockShox Super Deluxe. Yeah. So basically, what I just said works on all of those. And generally, let's see here. When you're adjusting your suspension, the blue knob, if it's a Fox, it's going to be your compression. Red knob's going to be rebound. Here's where it gets tricky. More and less. Which is more and which is less? Less rebound is faster. More rebound is slower. Less compression, faster. More compression, slower. Yes. And then if you have high and low speed compression and rebound, do what I said, then go ride your bike, and then you will fine tune the high speed compression on the trail, one click at a time, and you want it to be as active as it can without making it feel like your bike is bobbing up and down. Isn't that fun? Yeah, super confusing. I wish there was an easier way to explain it. I don't have anything apart here that'll really work to show you that. But more compression closes off the valve and makes it harder for the oil to pass through it. And then as you open it, that oil can pass through more easily, which makes it spring up and down faster. So now, just like on the last fork, I'm going to make sure there's no oil right here. Get that good and wiped out. Got my new seal. Not Lucille, my new seal. And I'm going to remove the Energizer ring. And no, this isn't the Fox tool. So I want to be extra careful to make sure this goes in straight, because these are sturdier. Get that little middle lip. If you push them in crooked, it gets bent. Whew, it's no fun. Now, put that on there. Go back to my rubber mount. Yes, rubber mount. Nice and straight. Get a little on this outside. So what's different about this tool and the Fox tool? Fox tool has a little insert that guides right into that bushing that I was telling you about. It's all worn out. It's almost flush. side. Energizer from the bottom. Dropped it right on my brake pad. I got 2 sets of brake pads. I'm only going to put 1 brake on this bike. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Let's again get that lined up. Nice and straight before you ever whack it. Because if you whack it crooked, you're not going to have fun. There we go. Nice and straight. And voila. So now that we've done that, we take our little oil rings and put them back inside. And once again, you want to make sure it's completely pushed back. And hidden behind the O-rings and dust wipers. Do the bag away. Do it again on this side. Push it in. Tuck it around. And voila. That is back together. Now we're going to come back to the bike because it's time for some fun. Let's get the charts back out here. Float. FERL. 160. So that's going to be 160 damper, 10 on the bottom, and 3 in the top. 5 in the top. Got it. 160, 3, 10. Yeah. How does it go back together? I don't remember. Do you guys remember? Do you? I do. I was scared. Yeah, it takes a while to figure out the adjustments. But the process, it's pretty simple once you get used to it. And we'll walk through it once I get this thing back together. And that shouldn't be too difficult because the air spring is really basic on here. The air spring is between this seal here, that seal there, and this top, which is really weird. But that's because it's got 2 ports to control the air. And then this is the negative spring. Like in your modern fork, it's just designed so that air will pass through a little port in here, and then it'll get air in the top and the bottom, and it equalizes. And then you'll see those bleed ports on the back for when it does. Or when you're riding in the Alps and the pressure changes, because that happens. Push that down away. And here's where you gotta be careful. We gotta get that flue float fluid inside here without getting it inside the chamber that this goes in. I'm just going to carefully
Pull some of that in there. Pour it. Why does my speech impediment come out?
now when I'm doing live entertainment. I'm going to say that is 5 cc's. How about that? Okay, that. Okay, so that's not 5 cc's. That's freaking low. Voila. Now the air chamber is back together. Where did I put my tool? Where is it? Just tighten that down. So I think for the next live stream, I'm going to reduce the video quality just a little bit, and that will help with the jitteriness. All right, that's clean. That's on. Don't like to feel that negative spring. That's just how it is. It's just the way it goes. Some things will never change. It'll always be the same. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and make sure we wipe all the oil off here. And here. This is when it's going to get fun. Real fun. Old school forks. So for fun, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. And now we're upside down-ish. Make sure our foam rings are pushed back as they should be. And now, gently and carefully. Oh, almost made a mistake. Not that I do make mistakes, but if I was going to, it'd be one of these. Or the sag meter. So we popped the Energizer rings off here so we didn't damage them. We put the fork back together. It'll also make it a little bit easier to guide this on. We can reinstall the Energizer ring. It just helps keep the rubber pressed against the fork, knocking that dust off there. Oh, well. Oh my god, they're so hard to do on these 32s. Oh, it's a problem on rock sharks. Wink. Or Centaur. I'm probably fibbing. Here's a pokey. Pop it on there. And walk in there. It's only being difficult because you were watching. Stop looking at. So difficult. We'll do it when gravity is working on our favor. It's not working on our favor. But anyway. Oops. Hopefully that didn't get in on everybody's rotors. Got too many bikes right here. Start off with just putting 10 cc of this oil into the air side. There was 20, right? 20 cc. Pretty thick. All right. Air side, 20 cc. This side. It's gonna take a lot more. It's hard to draw out of here. All right, there we go. Now, extend the fork up enough so the oil will pass the bottom. Squirt it down in there. And that's the viscosity at which the oil passes through the damper. Different dampers require different oils and different weight riders. We could tune this fork by changing the damper oil or the shim stack in the damper. I don't know enough about that to do that. I'm going to check the chat one more time because I see some activity. Yeah, I don't want to leave you hanging. I will more than likely be at Snowshoe that weekend as well. Yeah, Snowshoe is super awesome, and we're really spoiled to have it here in the state. I really can't believe I didn't ride it for like 10 years. Just because I was being stupid. If I'm going to travel, it's going to be for BMX. Well, now I'm 40 years old, 44, and I like to travel and ride my mountain bike. And have lots of fun. And not that I myself fun because of wheel sizes. That's stupid. Find the lid. Go. Go back to the water. You know. It's what's her name? What's that brand? Rock Shocks. Camelback. Hydrate or die. Okay. So this should theoretically slide up on here. So theoretically, it's gonna work. Don't worry. Just gotta shimmy this a little bit. Take my pokey and align it with the air shaft there, and we're good. Feed that through. I'm going to take my caps here, make sure I get my old crush washers out, and they are out. Slipping on new crush washers. Crush washer. Crush washer. See, we may have to get some air in there. Now the fork moves way more freely than it did before we took it apart. Flat washer back. And flat brake. Using the imaginary torque wrench. Go until that crush washer hits 10 Newton meters. 10 Newton meters right there. Do the same thing over here. Newton meters each side. Move the fork right side up again. Now, we get these stupid things back into place. You wanted to fight me before. Not fight me no more. Works so much easier when gravity is in your favor. And I'm just pinching it on one side in the seal. And I take my little pick tool on the non-pick end because I don't want to scratch the fork. And I go in behind the spring and just push it around until it pops back in the little channel. If you have a small plastic tire lever or small plastic picks, those work well. Go ahead and reassemble our fork. Caps. They just press on. You want to check their function as we put it back on. Make sure we're in good position. So with these old dampers, they don't have a stop, a hard stop, so you need to check the compression lockout and make make sure you have that range from the compression lockout forward to where it softens up. Just a little bit more. You have to tap the cap on. Do a little tap. And that makes some noise. Yeah, totally. As a young BMXer, mountain biking was just dumb. Dumb. If you did mountain bikes, you were a loser. And then I bought a mountain bike. And became a loser. Right. What are we hitting? It's that way. It's open. We're golden. We have full function on that part. Now, put our rebound damper back together. With a cap on it. The damper is inside of the other one. And we're not taking that apart. And you don't really torque these things because you want them to come loose one day. We're going to take that all the way to the minus. And then we're going to go towards the plus. Oh yeah, way slow. Back to the minus. Like I was saying before, going to the minus opens up that valve and allows for the fork to respond very quickly. Compression open allows for it to come up quickly. Compression closed, firm, firm, stop. All right. Yay! What time is it? It's 12:30. We're making good time. We've rebuilt a fork. Now we're going to do the shock. Yay! But first, take this chain out of my pocket and take off this hoodie. Let me step off camera. Excuse me. Almost. Woohoo! And we're back. Starting to get hot down here. We got some water. Put the gloves back on. Actually, we'll go ahead and put a little bit of air in this fork. Check the chat again. But I really do wish I'd have gotten into more mountain biking at a much younger age. Being a bratty kid really didn't do me any favors. Now I'm in much better shape than I was. All right. This part is pretty quick. Just did that before. Well, hey, how you doing? I think we're over here now. And if we're not, I'm apologizing. Once again, you should cover your eyes or use safety protection. Or actually, you should use a pump, check the pressure and let it down. I'm not really worried about that, because the guy had this way over pressurized for me, and when I build this thing back, I want it to be pressurized for me. Well, I'll get you to my back. That was very, very bad of me. Hopefully you guys are my front now. That's such thing. One of these days, I'm going to get a slightly better inner system down here. And we will get all of this lagginess worked out. Are we looking at my front now? Are we looking at my back? It look like we're now looking at my back. I just don't even know anymore. That should be the front both ways. When you drop a shock, you always want to be careful, because there are going to be some little pieces that pop out. Oh yeah. So it does look like we are on the Blue Mix camera. All right, pop this shock off here. One more bolt. Ta-da! Now we're coming back to 1, and I saw another comment. One of these days, I'm going to get it figured out. Smooth sailing. Swear I will. But right now, we should be back on number 1. And with that, I'm going to clamp these little guys right here. If I can pull it off, I won't clamp it. Oh, look, I can pull it off. It's always better to not clamp. Maybe I can push it out with a pin. Oh, I did. Yay. Oh, the joys of working on Fox and shocks. So as you can see, we got a little tiny nick right here. Not a big deal. There's barely ever going to touch that. This wiper here that is going to crust that is just a dust wiper. All of the air seals are back here. And now, open up my jaws. This is an aluminum device. Oh, that was just bad. It's bad. So we're going to open up the vise with the aluminum jaws in it. Clamp down on the shock body. Gently. Easily. Now, give me one moment. Going down. Where are they at? No? Okay. I was looking for rags. Normally, I have some cloth rags, but they're hiding from me. They have this cloth right here. We're going to stick it through the shock hole. I don't have any reason to believe that we're experiencing stuck down syndrome. So if the shock was stuck down, this piece here would be compressed. Bad news. That means there's air stuck in the negative chamber. When you go to remove the shock canister, it's going to fly off. Put this in here, and in case it flies off, it stops it from killing things. Now, we're going to hold the shaft still, because it shouldn't, but on these older ones, it could unthread on the inside. So we're going to hold that still while we unscrew it a little bit. Now, as we get to the end, I'm hearing a little bit of air creaking. And I want to be careful. Looking. Okay. Almost off. And it's up. No stuck down. We are safe. Goggles can come off. Ah. My other one, Charles. It's really loud, sorry. I apologize. So now, we'll just slide this off. Super clean on the inside. But very little oil left. Very little. See? Checking the chat. Yeah, back then, mountain bikes definitely weren't as cool. They didn't ride as well. Like this generation that I've been working on here was like the first generation that was really good. I don't know if you can see that little dimple right there. That little dimple is what allows the negative air chamber. So instead of having a spring, air just passes that and equalizes the shock. So that's why when you air up your shock, as you get 10 to 20, 15 psi increments, you oscillate it up and down, and that'll allow for air to pass through there. And just like the awesome Fox fork, the shock is awesome because even though the internals in here are all complicated, got all this fancy stuff, second air chamber, the damper, it's all going to vary over the years. However, this body, that air seal, and these seals at the bottom are the exact same from the first Fox float to the last Fox float. And most variation are serviceable with this pack right here. Available today. So I'm going to make a little room, throw some garbage away. Been making a mess. Oh, the older geometry. Yeah. So like if you watch the videos, there's one where I'm riding the XC bike that I had down Black Bear. And I mentioned that it's just like riding in the 90s. That's very hard to compress. Not too hard to compress. So this is your Pro pedal switch, CTD compression switch. So if you have a on-off compression switch on your bike, this is just going to make it harder or easier to compress. I don't hear any air in there, so we're super good. Yay! That's great. Now we're going to pull the seals off. When you use your pick here, once again, you want to make sure that you don't scratch anything. I'd rather take 3 tries to pull something off than scratch something. Bottom one's off. These ones are slotted and they just roll right off. And you should replace them every time, but I'm going to hold on to them in case the new ones get damaged. These ones usually don't. It's the next ones that do. Just get that little bit of residue off there. Wipe this shock body down. And since it is really nice and clean, we'll use the suspension cleaner. And a little bit just went into my water. So now, get new water. Slide all this stuff up, get all that debris off. Voila. Bottom part done. Next part in the air can here. Go ahead and take out this bottom seal. Probably pull that out with our finger. Don't even need a pokey. You've got 3 seals in here. The rubber one. Just dig right into it. Making sure not to score anything. Peel it right out. And you got your flat ones. Gone. And carefully get behind it. Or dig into it, but don't scratch the aluminum. Take your time. It's been in there for 12 plus years. It doesn't want to come out. All right, take all this old stuff, throw it away. Open up the new pack. And one thing that's kind of frustrating is these packs always used to come with a blister pack of Fox float fluid. Now they don't. Cost more, get less. The American way. Oh, yeah. I'm going to pull that back. Take our bookie. Get all the way up into this body. And get this O-ring right here. So we got our new kit. Found a corresponding O-ring. That one. Where's that one? So many choices. Go back to the first one. I think that was the right one. Take that. Nope, too big. There we go. And then use the round end. Make sure you don't scratch anything. Get that pushed all the way back under that lip. Inside. shit. Pressed back all the way. That's the inner one. Two plates that go around the inner one. Put this one in. Gonna remove my glove. So this one visually is very hard to tell the difference. But you want to feel this little lip right here on the bottom. One side's going to feel a little more harsh than the other, and that's the side you want up. I put that on. Slip that around. Get one on the bottom. Got one on the top. And you want to make sure that they slip all the way back together. Tuck underneath. So it's going to slide back into that shock body. Nice and easy. You don't want any of this to snag. There we go. Glove back on. Voila. Probably just got a new glove. Make my life easier. All right. I'm going to try something. Let's walk it. Come back to the computer. Come over here and see if we can't make a change and reduce some of the slagginess. We're going to go to settings. Pull up my britches. I can see it. Stream video. Video cannot be changed. Output. Let's try that. Hopefully it works. I'll move on now. So you guys will know, won't you? All right. So back to installing the most difficult part. It's this little guy. It looks almost identical, just like the last one. But this one is a little easier because it says something. It says Fox Racing Shock. You want the words to go up. You're going to go past the first lip into the second one. It's easy, right? Cake. Here's the hard part. Got to get both of these in there. So you put that on your finger, go into the crack just below the O-ring that we just installed, and as carefully as you can, with bending at the least as you can, press it in there. Didn't seem so bad. It's like he was over exaggerating. Gotta do it again with less space. So let's try that one more time. Going to the top. See, it's not so easy anymore.
It fell out.
Try to pull it down, make a little room. This is a lot easier when you do it all the time. When you work in a bike shop, you do it every day. It's like, man, I could do that, no problem. When you don't do it all the time, why did this get so hard? I can't remember. Should I have put these two in first? Is that why it's being difficult? Nope, there we go. Just had to get that little slot started. Now dance it in. It's always been difficult. Oh, come on. Just go in the hole. I know where your home is. It's in the hole. Don't you want to go home? So close. There we go. Come on, come on. Wait. Almost in there. See? Can you see? You cannot. Uh-oh. Let's look over here. The computer. It's disagreeing with it. It was less lag before. Okay. That's what we're going to work on right now. We're going to go the other way with that setting. If it didn't like it, we'll go the other way. Apply. Okay. How about now? Are we better now? Looks like I'm moving better. Should probably have been like this to begin with. Moving, yay! How about that screen? Oh, that screen doesn't like it. Well, how about that? We'll go back. Settings. I think what I'm going to have to do for the next stream is put it out at 720. So that's better? Awesome. Come down just a little bit more, see if that helps. Fly one more time. Okay. All right. Hopefully, we're doing better. I appreciate your feedback. It helps me out. And now, we've got that. We're going to just make sure we get this pressed back as far as we can. Because all this stuff has to slide on there. Nice and easy. It's not going to be easy. The last O-ring. This one is obvious which way it goes in. Lip goes inside. And a little piece sticks out to wipe off dust. Dust wiper. That's what it's called. Now to make everything a little bit easier, I'm just going to go ahead and put some float fluid on my finger on these seals. these seals because we're about to create an airtight spring. And all of these things are super tight. And it's on. Compress it and spin it. It's too easy. All right. Let's clean some of that oil off. And if you didn't hear me before when I started this whole thing, before I put the bike up on the stand and started this video, I actually pulled the shock off the bike and washed it. Whenever you're working on suspension, you want it to be clean. Any dirt that's on the outside could fall inside and become a contaminant. And we don't like contaminants. Not at all. All right. So now, get that just about back together. Put it on here one more time. Destroy your guys' eardrums. And I'm gonna have to go over there to my suspension drawer and get one more tool. So you'll notice this shock came apart with my hand. I didn't need any tools, but I am going to use a tool to tighten it back down as soon as I find my rubbing alcohol. Found it. Just want to clean this body off. Get it to a point where I can clamp on it. Clean rag. Oil off there. Oh. One more tool. Probably use one of these for changing your oil. I use it for tightening shocks. Ta-da! Sorry, I apologize. Now, let's go back to the bicycle. Going to read the text on the screen. Well, man, I hope you get some rest. It was glad hanging out with you. We'll be back next Friday, most likely. I think I'm going to start making this a Friday thing because this is my party. I like bikes. So, thanks for watching. See you next time. Have fun riding your bike too. That's what it's all about. Back to the bicycle. We'll call it dirt on the bike. Since we got this up here, we'll wipe it off real quick. What cameras? Oh, camera moved. Sorry. Over here. We're over here. What's going on? Is that pain? Didn't mean to do that. Just wipe this off real quick before we stick that back in. Don't need that cable. Always good to wipe these plates off when you have the shock out and the bike apart, because really, when are you going to be able to get in there that far? Probably gonna go ahead and get a bearing kit for this frame. Because it got us stuck there. I know part of it's this cable. There's a definite bind. Okay, so the strength is good at the moment. Hopefully it's still good. Now, let's go ahead and slap the shock back in the bike. It's gonna need a little bit of Loctite, which I've got around here. I saw it. I swear I did. Before this whole thing started, I had Loctite. I really did. It was right here. So, we'll do the adult thing and throw some stuff away. Put it where it goes. Oh, come on, Loctite. It's too. I feel like I looked right at you. He's like, it's not there, but it's there. It's in a tube. I have a tube of Loctite. And it's not there, because it's here. I knew I saw it. Those bolts are there. That bolt's down there. See what we get. With Loctite costing more than gold, you should know that you only need a tiny bit. Not a lot. Oh! Gotta put those pieces back. So these bushings go in here. So the shock body is facing forward. Okay. Don't really need to bind it down yet. So I gotta put these two in. Got washers that go behind them. And we need to freshen up that Loctite. Because we like to live. Well, I hope you have a wonderful evening. I'm not sure how far we'll get on this bike tonight. I'd like to do more, but I've also got to get up. Go be a good dad. Hang that there. So it's kind of a pro trick. Push your bolt through just enough that you can hang your washers on them. These things suck. They want to be difficult. And they have to fit just right in there. Allen wrench is right here. Go ahead, pick it up. You guys are at my back. No, you're at my front. You are. That's coming. Yes, Friday says it's good. We'll do that. And we will get this live stream a little bit better. Got another computer I can hardwire to the internet. Just need a really long cable. Now everything can be back into place. Move that in a little bit. There, that one's not in. This one right in. Now these ones are nice because they tell us exactly what to torque it to. 150 inch-pound. Unlike the bolts on the bottom here, with the foot bolt, I do have a torque wrench for these. $150. But it's in Newton meters. Hey Siri, how many Newton meters is 150 inch-pounds? It's the equivalent of 16.92. Okay. So let's do it. Oh, it came out. There we go. Torque to safety specification. All right. We are done with the disassembly almost. One more thing to take off here. Get the next piece to put on. Gonna need different pound wrench. Handy dandy 3-way. Whatever. We're gonna need another spacer. So I have one right here. Looks like a bottom bracket spacer. Not a head fit. Well. Okay. We got some. Come with me. Let's find some head fit spacers. Get some over here. It's black fob here. Well, this is a jumping style bike, right? Which all right. Headsets in there. I'm out here now, breathing, sort of. I do that kind of thing every now and then. You see these spots up. So we got a spoon spank skin. We'll get this monkey bar from Easton. Put it on here. Open that up a little bit more. We're taking it all the way out. It's not even working. You guys think that's too loud and annoying with your screen? Alright. Now it's in. You're totally pointing the wrong way. Well, if you haven't left already, you are now. So these are a 40mm rise bar. And I think my Harbor Freight Allen wrench is finally down. Socket. But the good news is I just have to walk into Harbor Freight. I'm not getting one. Take care of all the feet. We got that on. Holding on up. Even fourth on each foot. It's gonna make the front of the bike so much better. Oh, that's the next thing I need to do. So let's do it. Right. Wow. pump me up. All right, this should be good on the front. So we get it aired up and can sit on it and see what the sag really is. Oh, no way. I didn't put the sag ring. Didn't put the sag ring. Why didn't you guys warn me? Nobody spoke up. I said, hey Pete, put on the sag ring. Now, back this off. Pull this up. Dance this on me. Dance, dance, dance. See what time it is? It's 1:20. The egg room is reinstalled. Retort. The bottom bracket feels good. Back up one more time. There's the cap from the front. Itchy. Cap from the shock. Put the fork back on. Pump, 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 pump. And it's not really going to transfer air to the negative chamber, so I put the back wheel in. I'm not going to do that just yet. Grab a couple tools. Come back, post one. I'm going to switch. Let me switch over here. Give it a more full view. All right. Got my cassette lock ring tool. Chain whip. And this is probably going to fall right off. Oh, it's worked. Right. Okay. Once again, it's not like we're going to have things apart anytime soon. So what we do is we wipe all that dirt out of it. Keeps things running smooth and last as long as they can. Check how smooth that axle is. Very nice. So now, the reason we didn't put the back wheel back in yet, we have a cassette to put on there. Expanding the gear range of this bike, I'm going to put a box 1 bar on here. And find a little slot. Key. You have 1 wide gap on an HG cassette. 1 small tooth goes on right there. Now, and for this one, that's it right there. That's it. Set operating tool. Set. Big old wrench. How do I use all that stuff? Try to find it. Right, there's that. My big old fancy quick release. Okay. New rear derailleur. Oh yeah, we have a new rear derailleur. Flip that over. Make sure our beat stop tab is in the right spot. Wow. We have a derailleur. And what's this? We have a crank. And the screwdrivers. Push this little tab up. And make sure you always flip that up before you put your cranks on, or else you'll ruin that little safety retention thing. Proper technical term, safety retention thing. Take your little compression cap, and you're just securing the crank arm on. Doesn't need to be yanked down. Tight enough the bit. The crank still spins smoothly. Just like that. Back to our 5mm Allen wrench. tightening these down, you want to go side to side. So it's snug up. Walking back and forth. You can get a new ratchet. Carbon Franklin gave up the ghost. Hello. Now, oh, there's something to do. Since we're not going to run for a break, and remove the rotor. Not going to run for a break, you guys. You're going freestyle. We don't need a front brake, right? I don't know what I did with the bolt head on my socket, my drill. It's got a screwdriver in it. So I'd save a bunch of time doing this. Their bolts are coming one at a time. Anybody else join the chat? Or am I off by myself again? Finally. Get off there in the truck with you. Where's my axle go? Here's my axle. All right. You're definitely going to have to replace this hose, but I'm not going to do that tonight. It's squishy. So I wanted to go ahead and get that down so I could push air into the negative chamber. Fork feels really stiff. Open that rebound up. That's open. It's gonna be terrible sag. We'll leave that where it's at. Let's mirror that. we go. Now I've got some springiness. And I may run this stiffer, but for now, I want some springiness. Got the compression knob here. It stiffed it up on the fly if I want. But if I'm in some rough stuff, have it open, nice and active. But it is getting late. Like 1:30. We might be ending this live stream soon. Uh-oh, hopefully we're holding air. Up to 50 PSI. Pump, 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 pump. Transfer to the negative chamber. Looks like we're holding steady. Pump, pump, pump. Transfer to the negative chamber. Or are we losing air? I think we're losing air. No, no. Well, looks like I'm going to pull the shock back part. That is no fun. No fun at all. We're going to check the check. Well, looks like we're still having some streaming issues. So I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. Let's go back to this. Settings. Output. Y. How about now? This YouTube saying about our bit stream now. $9:35. It's giving us a look. Why do they recommend a higher bit stream if I can't get one? What am I supposed to do about it, YouTube? What am I supposed to do? I don't care. You don't tell me how to do it. They just say that I should. Yep, we definitely lost all that in. And that's going to call it for tonight's late night live stream. I'm going to clean up and call it an evening. Clunk. But once again, I do want to thank everybody who joined me. Really appreciate it. And I hope you have fun working tonight or whatever it is you're doing while you watch me work on my bike. But we're going to call it a night. Tomorrow I'm going to pull that back off there. I'm pretty sure it's the top seal. So I've got to take it all the way apart. Replace that top seal. So, hashtag like and subscribe. Good night.